At the moment in our More Shapes working file, none of our objects interact. So they all quite happily sit on the page and don't encroach upon each other's space at all. Now with a drawn shape, they can encroach on each other's space, and dependent on which one was drawn the most recently, will depend on which one will effectively hide the other. So if I were to take my smiley face and move him over the top of the heart, you'll see that the heart is then hidden. What we are dealing with now is a series of stacking order. Now the most recent objects are higher up that stacking order and therefore can sit in front of objects that were previously drawn. Now that might not always be the case of what you're trying to achieve. For example, I bring across Hello World and he's actually in front of smiley face. So that works well because the speech is pointing at his mouth. But that has then hidden the arrow and I still can't see the heart. Now you don't need to plan the order that you draw your objects to try and control things because you can control the stacking order. Now we can do that by selecting an object, going to the Drawing Tools format Context Sensitive ribbon, and we have the option here to control things in the Arrange group, either bringing things forward or sending them back. Now both of these options have drop-down arrows that allow you to bring something right to the front or right to the back. So bring forward has bring right to front or just bring forward one step in the stacking order. Send backward allows you to send backward one step in the stacking order or send right to the back. Both of them also have options for sending objects right behind all the text or right in front of all the text. At the moment we have no text on the page, so we're dealing with their interaction with other shapes. So let's select the smiley face and see what happens if we just send it backward. So it goes back one step and that's enough for it to then go behind the heart. I can then select the heart, perhaps make it a lot smaller and place it in there as one of his eyes. So he's now got a heart eye. So that's selecting any particular object and then controlling its stacking. Now quite useful in this is the selection pane. If I give that a click, it opens up the selection pane and shows me the current stacking order. So the item effectively at the back is rectangle 6, then smiley face, then heart, then straight arrow connector, then rounded rectangle callout, down ribbon, text box 1 and equal 2. I can change the stacking order within this selection box as well. So if I were to take my rectangle here and bring it down here, it's actually behind the happy birthday banner and it has it selected here, but I can move this up the list. And as it moves up the stacking order list, nothing happens as far as interaction with anything else until we get to the ribbon. And once it goes above the ribbon, it then displays in front of the ribbon. So I cannot now see my banner. If I move it back down a step, it then goes back behind the banner. It's still ahead of these other 4 objects. So if I were to move it up here, it would hide those, but bringing it back down to the banner, it stays behind. So you can see that there is this stacking order of hierarchy. The hierarchy is initially determined by the order in which you add things to the Word document, but you can then control that by selecting an object and either bringing it forward or sending it back, or sending it right to the back of everything, which is effectively to the bottom of this list, or bring it right to the front of everything, which is the same as bringing it to the top of this list. This is the selection pane. I really quite like this for being able to move objects in that stacking order. And you can turn it off at any stage by clicking the option again. Now, once you start interacting shapes, you'll want them to stay interacted. If you see what I mean here, if I take my smiley face now and move him, he quite happily moves, but the heart eye stays behind and the hello world caption stays behind. So if I undo to put him back, what I really would want to happen is all 3 of those objects to now stay together and move together. In order to do that, I need to group them. To group them, I firstly need to multiple select them. So I select the smiley face, I then shift click the heart, I then shift click the caption. So that's 3 objects selected. In the selection pane, I can see those 3 objects. They're all highlighted in blue. And then on the Arrange ribbon, there is a Group option. And you can see that I can group them as a single object. Now in the selection pane, they are now called Group 3. And indented are the 3 separate objects. They are still 3 separate objects, but as a group, I can then move them en masse. I can even rotate them en masse. And within reason, I can resize them en masse. Notice how the text within the caption doesn't resize, but the objects do resize in proportion. So I now have a smaller smiley face with a heart eye and a smaller caption box, but the Hello World text font size remains the same when you resize a group. Having grouped them together, they will stay together. I can copy and paste them together until the point I need to separate them again by ungrouping them, which I do by selecting the group, go up to the little group option and ungroup. That makes them 3 separate objects again, but they are still multiple selected. I would need to click away if I then wanted to take one of them away, which may be the heart. Or I may just want it to deselect so that I can duplicate the heart by copy and paste. So I've now got 2 little hearts. So you can have 2 heart eyes. Reselect everything, regroup them. And I have a single object, resizable, movable, with 2 heart eyes. So you can see here we've looked at the stacking order and that hierarchy and the decision of what goes in front of what, made by the order in which things are added to the Word document, but you can control that stacking order. You can then even group multiple items together to effectively create a single object that will move and resize as a single object, but still be able to be ungrouped at a future stage should any of the component items need editing, replacing, or deleting.